much comes from Uranus. That much comes from Uranus.
Hey, Louie! Yeah, just having a busy day, doing my thing. You saw the first episode. Awesome. What did you think of it? You don't like the tie. Okay, we can get rid of the tie. You don't like the entire suit. Okay, well, what? More colorful, more vibrant. Okay, I'll see what I can find. I know I have a purple shirt. You want a Hawaiian shirt? Okay, we'll see how it looks, and we'll put that on the next episode. Yeah. Thanks, big guy. Bye.
Miss Tiffany here. Welcome to another episode of Uranus on Route 66. Today we're going to the D.W. Correll Museum in Catoosa, Oklahoma. We're so excited. Really, Brian? A Hawaiian shirt?
Louie. Did you already tell them where we're going?
Yeah.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Boys and their toys. Let's face it, people like their cars. So much so that sometimes it can turn into an obsession or a collection. From buggies and wagons to those cherry 1930-somethings, to even a lot of people's favorite, the 57 Chevy. You never know which one will give you that bug, but you can be certain that people develop a love for their things. Today we go to explore one man's collection of many things that, due to his beloved stature in the community of Catoosa, he now has a museum that shows off all of his things, which in turn shows off himself.
Yeah, I'm Eric Hampshire. I am the curator and director here at the D.W. Correll Museum in Catoosa, Oklahoma. We have collections of rocks, minerals, fossils, bottles, antique toys, antique automobiles, wagons, surreys, and all kinds of other cool things. The museum is the personal collection of D.W. Correll. He was a longtime Catoosa resident, lived in the house next door. Built the museum, collected the things here, restored a number of the automobiles that are here. And these were the things that he was interested in throughout his life. So this was his hobbies that grew and grew until he had a museum. He was originally from Rocky Ford, Colorado, son of a blacksmith. Grew up during the Depression, dirt poor, like a lot of people, and had a big impact on his life. I think common with people who grew up at that time, you learned to save, you learned to put your items into tangible objects rather than into banks, and so that's what he did. I think that's where a lot of this collection came from. But he went to California during World War II, and he built aircraft there for the war effort. Following the war, he got a job for McDonnell Douglas in Tulsa, and that's how he ended up in Oklahoma. So he was building jet aircraft there, one of the very first jet aircraft mechanics in the country. And he raised his family here and collected all these wonderful things, and he did a number of things throughout his life, sort of a jack of all trades. So he did construction, land development, he owned a service station. Of course, he worked for McDonnell Douglas for 20 years or so. He became a jeweler later in his life. He was well known in the community for being generous with kids. With the rocks and minerals in particular, he would love to show off his stuff, and every kid that came through here would leave with something. And I get a lot of people that come through that are my age or even older that say, yeah, I've been coming here since I was a kid, and I still have these pieces that DW gave to me. And it's great to hear those stories, and I try to replicate that myself.
And replicate it he has. When we first arrived here, we caught Eric cutting stones and making jewelry, just as DW would have been doing. Not to mention, Eric has brought things from his own personal collection into the museum to add just a little bit of his own personal touch and flair. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a short message.
I enjoy hunting, fishing, and a nice cold RC cola. Now at the end of the day, I need a snack. Now not any snack will do. I need something that'll fill up my tum-tum and satisfy my num-num. That's why I grabbed some nuts. Redneck nuts.
With 11 different flavors, you can tantalize your tongue with some of the best nuts in the world.
But we suggest you don't eat just one at a time. The more nuts you shove in your mouth, the more those flavors will explode in there. Pucker and dill redneck nuts. Delicious. Curry redneck nuts. Ghost pepper redneck nuts. Woo-wee! Spicy. You may be wondering where you can get your hands on my tasty nuts. You can find my redneck nuts only in Uranus. Stop by UranusGeneralStore.com and order my redneck nuts today. I promise, you'll thank me later. Or now. One of the two. You'll thank me.
Well, Miss Tiffany has conned her way into another tour. How'd she do that, you ask? Well, she used her best skill, and she just kept talking. But I tell you, getting to see all the stuff in the museum shows me how interesting a guy D.W. Correll really was. Most of us just gloss over rocks, but D.W. found the beauty in each one and was able to bring out the beauty to show everybody else as well. And let's not forget the children's toy collection along with his big boy toy collection. It was definitely a walk through time.
His private museum started in the early 70s, and I think it was just the fact that he had been collecting these things, and I'm sure at some point people had to start saying, well, you really just need to open a museum, and that probably stuck in his head until he had the time and resources to actually do that. So it started as a very small museum, just a rock and mineral museum. He purchased in 1969 in an auction for $400 the original Catoosa post office building. And small, it was built in 1885, so it was just a small one-room wooden building. And it was up the road, and they moved it over here and turned it into his first museum. That building is no longer with us. It was destroyed in a tornado that came through town in 1993. So the building is gone. However, our historical society has built a replica of the building up the road. So that's pretty neat, yeah. We have rocks, minerals, fossils from all over the world here. Mr. Correll traveled extensively throughout his life all over the world and collected a lot of this stuff, but he would also go yearly to Tucson. The world's biggest rock and mineral show is there every year, and he would go down and in his van or the truck and just haul back as much as he could carry. And so he would sell he would sell the bulk of what he brought back and keep the nicest pieces for the museum. We have 11 automobiles that belong to Mr. Correll, and so they are on permanent display here. We have 2 automobiles on loan. We've got a 26 Rolls Royce, belongs to one of our board members, and my 57 Chevy is here. And we've got 5 wagons or surreys that he owned and restored, a couple of railroad luggage carts, and then we've got a sleigh that's on loan. Well, it's been hard. Of course, anyone in the tourism industry right now is suffering, and Route 66 travel in general is really suffering. We lost all of our overseas travelers, which is typically probably a third of our visitors are overseas, and so it's definitely affecting us. Fortunately, we have funding from the city of Catoosa, who owns and operates the museum, and they pay my salary. So we have an advantage there that a lot of the small museums don't have. We are partnering with the Tulsa Geoscience Center. They did have a facility where they would bring in school kids and do all kinds of science projects, and they learn all about geosciences. Well, the pandemic kind of put the nail in the coffin for their facility, but they're going to go on as an organization and do mobile things. So the bulk of their collection was donated here to the museum and is on display here. But they are going to go to the schools and do their programs in the schools, so they can get materials from us, rocks, minerals, fossils, whatever they need to take with them to the schools to do those programs. And they're going to do some of those programs here at the museum as well. So it's going to be a good opportunity to kind of connect with younger people and to hopefully, inspire some interest in the geosciences. Yeah, I never got to meet Mr. Correll, although I've met all of his sons and a number of his grandchildren. And many people who knew him over the years, local residents here, and so I'm always trying to, get those little stories that really help to tell you who somebody was, so I can do my best to keep his wishes alive in this place. I think about it often. If he's up there looking down on me, I want to make sure I'm doing this a way that he would be happy with. I hope 30 years from now, some of the kids will come back and talk about me in this similar light. So, if you are interested in visiting the D.W. Correll Museum, visit our Facebook page, or you can Google us. We do have a website as part of the city of Catoosa. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 to 5 on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We look forward to seeing you.
Boy, that was fun. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure you join us as we're going to be driving up and down Route 66 for the next several weeks. What are you doing?
Driving.
She's getting her little jiggy on over here. Join us on Facebook, on YouTube. Just join us. For myself, Brian, for Miss Tiffany, thank you.
Bye.